Okay, here's a thought for you. What does your car have in common with the gasoline that powers it? The answer, you might guess, is automation. But, and this is the important part, maybe not in the way you think. Today, we're going to break down the two massive, kind of hidden engines of our modern world, factory automation and process automation. Let's get right into it.
So to really get a handle on this, let's start with something super familiar. I mean, we've all seen one of these, right? An automatic car wash. Now, you're probably thinking, what could that possibly
Have in common with a gigantic, sprawling, incredibly complex oil refinery. I know, it sounds like a riddle, but the answer really gets to the heart of what separates these two powerful types of automation. And believe it or not, it all starts right here. If you can understand what's happening inside that car wash, you're well on your way to understanding how a massive modern factory works. So, what are we really even talking about when we say automation? Well, at its core, it's pretty simple. It's just using technology, things like computers, sensors, motors, to do a job with as little human help as possible. It's literally the automatic in automatic car wash. Let's break down how this actually works. First, you pull up and you choose your wash package. That's your input. Then a controller, which is basically the brain of the whole operation, runs the right program. A sensor sees where your car is, and then, boom, the nozzles spray water. That's the output. When it's all done, you get the green light to exit. See that? It's a simple, elegant loop. Input, process, output. And that basic logic, that's the foundation for pretty much all automation, no matter how ridiculously complex it gets. Okay, so we've got the car wash model down. Now, let's scale that idea way up and see where things get really interesting. This is where we hit the core difference, the big distinction between our two types of automation. And here it is. This is really the main takeaway. Factory automation is all about making discrete objects. We're talking about things you can actually pick up and hold, like a smartphone or a car door. Process automation, on the other hand, is all about managing continuous systems, like the flow of chemicals through a plant or the pressure in a pipeline. So one makes things, the other keeps huge systems running. It's that simple. All right, so let's dig into factory automation first. How do you actually get a bunch of machines to build things for you? The goal here is pretty straightforward. Use technology to do all those repetitive physical tasks that people used to do. Think welding a car frame over and over, or popping a new phone into a box. The result is a process that's way faster, incredibly precise, and honestly, a whole lot safer for the people involved. Now, it turns out there isn't just one type. There are different flavors of factory automation, and each one is really a different business strategy. You've got fixed automation. This is for when you need to make a bajillion of the exact same thing, like a specific bolt for a car engine. It's all about maximum efficiency, minimum change. Then there's programmable automation, which is more adaptable. Think of a robot arm you can teach new tasks for different batches of products. And finally, you have flexible automation. This is the most agile of the bunch, perfect for things like CNC machines that can be quickly reprogrammed to make a wide variety of different parts. Okay, let's flip over to the other side of the coin. If factory automation is building the car, then process automation is what's running the refinery that makes the gasoline. This is all about managing the whole system. So where do you find this stuff? Well, you find it in these absolutely massive industrial plants, where the goal isn't to assemble individual parts, but to manage this constant flow of materials and energy. We're talking electric power plants, chemical refineries, paper mills, all these huge facilities that are kind of the bedrock of our modern life. In this world, the game isn't about building one object perfectly. Nope. It's about this constant, delicate balancing act. You're monitoring and controlling thousands of different variables all at once, just to keep a massive, complex system running smoothly and, most importantly, safely. So what kinds of variables are we talking about? Things like temperature, pressure, flow rates, vibration, you name it. In a typical plant, you've got thousands of sensors constantly feeding this data back to a huge control system. That system then automatically adjusts things like valves and pumps to keep everything in perfect balance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, so we've laid out what these two types of automations are, but let's get to the big question. So what? Why does this matter so much? Why is this such a big deal? Well, the impact is just huge. I mean, sure, it can reduce labor costs, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg. It leads to much higher quality products, a massive boost in productivity, and way safer workplaces. And get this,
It even allows for something called predictive maintenance, where sensors can literally tell you a machine is about to break down before it actually happens. How cool is that?
Just to give you an idea of the impact on quality, with automation, you can hit an error rate as low as 1 in a million. That's 0.00001%. That level of precision is it's physically impossible for a human being to maintain. It means that every single thing that comes off that line is made to the same exact, perfect standard. And what about productivity? Well, automated systems can run 24/7, 365 days a year. They don't need sleep, they don't get coffee breaks, they don't go on vacation. This completely rewrites the rules of how much we can produce and how fast we can do it. So, to wrap it all up in the simplest way possible, factory automation builds the things we use every single day. And process automation, it runs the massive systems that provide the power and materials to both make and use those things. They're two sides of the same incredible coin, and together, they have absolutely revolutionized our world. And that really brings us to a final thought. Factory automation built the very device you're watching this on right now, and process automation generated the electricity that's powering it. So as these incredible technologies get even more advanced, what part of our lives do you think they're going to reshape next?